Hi everybody. This is a broadcast message.
What about Luca Dean?
Me and Ned have split up. I'll be back in 3 months. That makes no sense to a lot of people. Welcome to Toffee TV. It is live at 5. Is it the day that Luca Dean goes out and El Ghazi comes in? It's the dream. It's a dream. Dream crossover. It's the one they all wanted to see. It's the one at the beginning of at the window. If you said to me, "What do you want to happen?" I'd be like, "The Dean El Ghazi crossover." It's the one I wanted. It's the one everyone wanted. Because then did everyone envision?
I think it's the one Villa wanted. Maybe
the one they wanted. Ooh, honey. Yeah,
classic song.
From a classic film.
Yeah.
I mean, why is Ned making so much
noise?
noise?
I don't know. Ned, does he want to? Has he got something to tell us?
No, he's not allowed to say nothing because he hasn't got a mic.
Yeah, I've seen that from a couple of people actually.
Be unprofessional for him to like just talk and it be
Just
like
talk.
this noise in the background. But yeah, it looks like Luca Dean will become a Villa player. 23 million apparently with 5 million add-ons. I wonder what the add-ons are for.
Playing games.
Just games, not like winning the Champions League or.
Nah, I wouldn't imagine so.
How many times Steven Gerrard says, "Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course."
I imagine it'll be caps for France and playing games.
It's always weird them add-ons, aren't they? They're always really weird. Like you know, you have like, yeah, if you win like the Champions League, you got to give us. It's like, no, just get the money. Get the guaranteed money. Like, that's all that about.
It's the way they do it nowadays.
No, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
It's the way they
do
it.
Weird. Bit weird, but there you go.
Rising to 28 million.
I mean, if we got the full 28 million, that would be a great deal. That'd be a great deal. He's got 4.5. He's got like 4.5 years to do it to get us the extra money. Some package that though, isn't it? You're talking like over 50 million quid for him. If we'd done that, we'd be looked upon as being, not doing things the way you're supposed to do them in football now. But the way they're doing it, and it's the missing link to this Villa team.
Well, we'll see, won't we?
Yeah,
we'll
see. You know, you can't dismiss things
we
before
know
they
he's a
happen.
good player.
Yeah,
they feel like they need him. So good luck to them.
Oh, he's a good player.
They've took advantage of a situation, which is sometimes what you have to do. You know, it's an untenable situation. He wouldn't have gone to Villa any other way at this stage, would he? So they've seen an opportunity and took it. So fair play to him.
It does feel like when Andy Hinchcliffe went to Sheffield Wednesday, doesn't it?
Yeah. Unnecessarily.
Like, you know.
Although Andy Hinchcliffe then never produced anything. But
no, his knee went, didn't it?
Yeah.
His knee went and he was it basically finished him, and then he'd become very, very angry with Everton for selling him to Sheffield Wednesday.
And it's never forgiven us.
He's never forgiven us. And said, like on the commentaries, make sure everyone knows that he hates us.
He hates us.
But it was very similar. People who weren't around, obviously, that was 1998. It was very, very similar. We'd had a player over 3 years who'd gone from being dross to somehow becoming a very, very good player. I mean, when I say
was unbelievable.
When I say somehow, I mean he'd done it through hard work and he got himself into the England team, and he was brilliant.
His left foot was brilliant.
And to be fair, he when you think about it, he could have gone to a lot of really good clubs, but he went to Sheffield Wednesday, who were sort of in a similar position to what Villa are now, a team who were on the up. You know, it never happened. But his knee went and it finished him.
I back Villa to do better than Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah. Sheffield Wednesday it was it was
a bit mad.
It wasn't great. I just remember the one thing I remember when Andy Hinchcliffe when he went was he'd got a boot deal with was it Kronos or someone like that? No, it was like he remember because he was wearing like these blue boots,
the blue
and they were like so precise, like nobody had these boots. And I remember that was like I think his last game, he went like to the paddock and he gave someone his boots because they were very, very. They were like, you could wear them for Sheffield Wednesday because they wore blue and white. It was fine. But I remember him having those boots because I was like I was really into my boots then.
Maybe that's why he went to Sheffield. They were the only
the only ones. He was like,
well, not like there was a couple of teams in for him, a couple wore red and that. And he was like,
these boots are dead comfy. These are dead comfy.
And I want to go to a team that plays in blue, so they suit the boots. Maybe that was his reason.
Maybe because it was an era of mad boots. People like Valsport. I had a pair of Valsport. They were boss. Although I remember wearing them in a Sunday League game and someone stood on my foot and it put holes in them. So they weren't made of much. No. They weren't made of much. It was the metatarsal era. You know, that's why a lot of people got metatarsal injuries. Because
you
of
go
because of Valsport.
You become a thing.
Maybe.
Fair enough. Let's have a couple of comments.
Get in the comments.
What's going on here? There we go. Robert Oldfield. Hi lads. Gary Ward. Howdy. Gareth Hughes. Can you lads wish a happy 9th birthday to my youngest and diehard Manc Evertonian, Christopher Hughes. His favourite present was the Black Watch kit with grey on the back. Happy birthday, Christopher. Hope you're having a lovely birthday.
Yeah.
9.
Good
lad.
It's not too late to become a Man City fan.
Not at all.
Not too late.
Not at all.
Even if you just go and watch them now and again, just for the happiness of watching, like, a football club that can pass footballs to each other. See, I don't even see that as betrayal because it's a different sport. It's not even the same sport. It's not the same sport, so it's fine.
It's not the sport Everton play.
No,
definitely.
It's not.
I think Christopher has been to a couple of Man City games.
They wear Kronos as well. Look at that. That is.
I knew you were searching for them.
See, they wear Kronos as well. He's got gold ones there. I knew they were Kronos boots. No one will have heard of Kronos boots.
Andy Hinchcliffe on the lost art of corner taking.
Yeah,
Liverpool
lost art of having a knee.
And 20 odd years later, Everton still have lost the art of taking corners.
The lost art of having ligaments in your knee.
RCO2 says, what do you lads think about El Bobble on Twitter? He's sound, no issue with him. Gareth
he
says...
gets most of his stuff off Baz.
Shut up. Gareth... He's sound. Gareth Hughes says, I know a lot of people bemoan a back 3 to 5. However, in a fantasy world where everyone's fit, I think it works for us bedding in our young and new players. A back 3 of Mina, centre with Branthwaite to the left. Branthwaite to the left of me, Godfrey to the right, here I am. Also allows our 2 new fullbacks a bit more leeway, playing as wing-backs with more defensive cover. I think the only issue with it is your 3. If you didn't want to play with wingers, then fine. You can play that way, because then you could have Richarlison off Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You'd have 3 in midfield, wouldn't you? So you'd have to take out, say, Anthony Gordon, and take out like Townsend or whatever, and your midfield 3 then would have almost have Damari Gray in the 10.
Yeah.
So it'd be like a 5-2-3, wouldn't it? As opposed to a 5-3-2. Could work.
Depends what plays you've got, doesn't it? It depends how you set up as out what your players are. Like Liverpool would be pointless going to a 3 because they've got 2 full-backs that go forward like wing-backs. Like they start so high up, and then they've got the protection of the 3 midfield. They're so mobile, and they're different kind of players. And Fabinho sits and Jordan Henderson sits, and then Thiago is a bit better on the ball. Then you've got a Chelsea who have got probably 3 better centre-backs. Then they've got 3 better midfielders, and they use the wing-backs, and their wing-backs get forward. But they've got good enough protection, and the 3 at the back are good enough. Ultimately, it comes down to players, doesn't it? It comes down to how good your players are. If we had 2 really good centre-backs, we wouldn't need to play 3 at the back.
No.
Ultimately. So we sort of, I think at times 3 at the back is like, it's covering your losses, isn't it? It's covering you need mobile wide. Your centre backs have got to be able to get out wide quickly. So if you're going to do it long term, you need to have like Ben Godfrey on the left, perfect. So you need a Ben Godfrey on the right, a Ben Godfrey type who can get out wide and can stretch your 3 out. So that if the wing back, the opposition wingers get past your wing backs, your centre backs need to be able to drop out, and then you need a centre midfielder who can almost drop in. And it's mad because those 2 wide centre backs then become the full backs in a way, and you need mobility.
The whole thing is mobility.
Yeah, it's all mobility
wherever it is. RCO2 says, after Longstaff and El Ghazi, do you think there could be an experienced attacking midfielder added on loan towards the end of the window? Or do you think we might try to get an extra or a different type of player? I don't know whether it'll be an attacking midfielder, unless they go and get Barkley later on, but then you are just clogging.
Do you think if we got Longstaff, that'll be it?
I think so, because I don't know what else. I don't see any centre-backs we can get this January. I really don't, other than at picking up players who aren't getting in anywhere else.
It's about keeping players fit then, isn't it?
It's about if you can keep your players fit. If Mina can stay fit for the second half of the season, more or less, and you can get Branthwaite available and fit. You know, there's rumours today that Newcastle want to take Holgate on loan. So then that you'd expect Branthwaite to become one of the options then at centre-back. For me, like, centre-back is such an important position for us this summer, same as centre midfield. And we have to, I guess we have to kind of get it right. So getting someone now, I just don't know who you could get.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Unless you went and got like...
The vision just went in my mind then, by the way, of Mina getting fifth for next week. And then Colombia calling him up.
Oh my God.
I was just thinking then.
Everton should just say no, you're not going. Not going, we let you go last time.
Is Charlton to be the same?
And we've hardly seen you. Oh, Brazil wanted Charlton to go. So he'd make himself available for Villa and then go off with Brazil when we really don't need him to do that.
No.
I can't, that's right on the end of the window as well. So if anything happens, then you're knackered. If it starts at the window, you can kind of flap around and grab something.
Well, they'll play a game just after the window shuts on the Monday, and they'll play on the Wednesday or the Thursday, even though in South America.
So they'll miss the FA Cup game then.
If they don't get back in time, yeah. Depending, because last time they played on Thursday, didn't they? They played on the Thursday night, but we didn't have anyone involved. But other clubs did. And they never got back in time.
No.
So, I just, I hope. And don't forget, we're in the Mina's injury started because he played 3 games in a week. And then we got the setback against Arsenal, which was a different injury.
Yeah, but he'd only just come back.
That's what I'm saying. He'd only just come back, but it was because of the 3 games. So Colombia have to look after him. They got away with not playing him in the last set of fixtures. So maybe they need to do that again and look after the player. Because if he's there, one of their better centre backs, and they're going to need him for the World Cup, maybe they need to start looking after him.
They're going to have to. Bobby C says, I've been reading through Gavin Buckland's excellent books about Everton in the 60s and 70s. Thoroughly recommend them. I grew up during those years, and it's great not only to relive some memories, but also to find out other new snippets new to me. One thing is clear, we need a ruthless and decisive businessman like John Moores in his prime, running our club, rather than an absentee owner or a nostalgia-driven chairman. Absolutely agree. Conrad Cole says, good evening, gents. All is well. Keep going with the great shows. Thank you very much. Thank you. Dosmic says hello. Jake Latford says hello.
Hello.
Kevin Kraft says Calvert-Lewin,
Calvert-Lewin,
Richarlison and Mina back in Everton training. Yeah, definitely. It's good to see them back. Clampo said I had those Quasar boots as well.
No, they're not Quasar. Quasar were
I think he was saying he had Quasar boots.
No, you just said as well.
I know, but he might.
No, you've mistaken Quasar.
I'm giving Clampo the benefit. No,
I'm not giving him any benefit. When it comes to footy boots, you don't get.
No, you are.
Quasar were what Gary Lineker wore. Right?
I remember them.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
They were terrible. Right, Kronos were late 90s. There was like an influx.
I had Lotto boots that I.
Lotto were good boots though. Lotto were good boots. I've got the Adora now, and I know Ned's copied me. I've got completely blacked out. I haven't got nothing to play in at the moment. But there was like an influx of like these boots from like Italy, and I think it might have come with the first wave of players who came over. And there was like Kronos, and there was another pair. There was like Valsport, and there's a few different ones, and you'd see them on like Football Italian and be like,
yeah.
What a day. And I used to always look in the back. I used to get like the 442. This is before like the internet, and you'd go into the back and like there'd be different companies selling them, and I'd sometimes buy the magazine just for the adverts in the back.
You are.
And you'd be looking at the boots, I need to. And obviously I was madly into my Predator then. I had all the Predators, so but there was this guy, I don't even know who this guy was, but he opened like this bespoke footy shop on the Albert Dock, and I used to go in and see him, and he had this deal with this boot company, and I got these boots made for me in Italy, and they only lasted like a couple of games. They just felt a bit, but like there's nothing I could do. But I didn't care, because I'd just be on to the next set of boots. I'd be like, that gives me an excuse to buy another pair of boots. And they were mad though, because the leather was dead stiff in them. They were horrible.
John Calder says Benitez not going to last the season. We won't be in the same boat next season with the new manager not having his players. Benitez out. Okay. Abigail says, could we turn Dele Alli's career around like we have with Gray? He can play attacking and centre midfield. Spurs tried to offer play him. Been linked with him again today. A couple of journalists saying, I mean, I don't know how this works, but a couple of journalists saying Everton are going to make a late move for Dele Alli in the window. You know, late on in the window. Unless they've heard, they'll see how it goes, and if he's still available, he could be interesting. Dele Alli, it's weird, isn't it? Just stopped working hard at football.
Stopped progressing, didn't he? Just stopped progressing.
Do you think he just hit his peak quickly? And what I mean by that is, he was in MK Don's team at 18, 17, wasn't he? And he obviously got the move to Spurs quickly for £5 million, and then he got in and hit the ground running, and he was brilliant for a few years. Do you think he just his actual potential was as good as it was ever going to get at like 21, and he just done it quickly?
I just think he stopped working hard. I think you see it all in the Spurs documentary. I think Mourinho susses him out dead early on. Just says you don't work hard enough. I think same things happen to Ross Barkley. They get attracted to everything else that comes with it, and of course we know all about Ross, and we've all seen bits of Dele Alli.
We have bits I didn't want to see.
Yeah. Whereas a lot of other footballers, you know, don't say boo to a goose and just get their head down and work hard, and they have boss careers because they get better, and these players that haven't got better, and don't get me wrong, that happens to some players naturally where they just don't get better. They can't learn the extra. They don't get fitter. Don't get stronger. But I think with Dele Alli, I think there is part of it, a lot of it. But his natural ability is there. You could see it. Some of the goals he scored, some of his ability to arrive late in the box. But I think the nearest thing English-wise you can compare him to is probably Frank Lampard. And you watch how Frank Lampard worked at the craft and got better and better and better. I don't see that kind of commitment from Dele Alli. I don't see a player who's... I mean, obviously, we don't see him every day in training. But I think in that documentary, it did highlight the fact that he didn't work hard. Mourinho was just not first day.
No, it was
just like, you don't work hard enough. You do not work hard enough. And then he fell out of them. And then someone like Conte's not going to put up with that. No. He's not going to put up with someone. A weak manager would. A weak manager would put up with it.
So what Benitez put up with him?
I don't think Benitez is a weak manager. I don't think he's I think quite the opposite. I think he's a disciplinarian who won't, and we've already seen that with the Dean situation. He would, but I think someone might give him a chance. And
do you think we should go for him on loan?
We've gone for El Ghazi. They play near enough the same kind of position. What I mean by that is, I know they're not the same kind of players. But what I mean is they're filling a role in your squad that's quite similar. I probably think you know, Dele Alli's better at it. Because he's more natural in that number 10 and he can ghost in. Does he work enough the other way? I'm not sure. But if he goes somewhere, I think he'd do really well for them. I could see him. I'm surprised someone like Villa have got Coutinho, but West Ham have got a few in that role. It's difficult.
The reports I read was saying Spurs thought Newcastle were going to come in for him, but apparently he's not interested in Newcastle. Newcastle aren't interested in him.
But that's going to put a major block on the deal, then. That stops the deal. That stops the deal, doesn't it? No, he's at a junction in his career where I find it very hard.
26, isn't he, or 27?
I'd find it really hard because what happens is, I said Ross Barkley again. Find this, you go, oh, is he worth a chance? Before you know, they're 28. No one's giving them a chance at 28, and they're seeing the last days out somewhere. Yeah. So
it's not good, is it? It's not good. Robert Bancroft said I had a pair of Quasar boots Gary Lineker wore them.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're not the same boots that Andy Hinchcliffe wore. They were Kronos.
Talking about
just, you know,
Quasar, which is literally
the conversation has changed to Quasar. I mean,
the
only Quasar I had was a gun in Pleasure Island running around trying to kill the red team.
Great.
What a time to be alive.
It's amazing.
Was
free bowling, like once you were in, you the temp and bowling.
People wouldn't believe this.
Quasar.
So there was a place in Liverpool, if you never heard of it, right, called Pleasure Island, and it had different things, but it used to be. So it used to be the Garden Festival years ago. It was under this big like greenhouse, and at first when I don't know if you remember, you paid separately for everything. So the bowling was paid separately, the works was separate, the roller rink disco was separate, but I think it started struggling, and basically it was a tenner all in. So you paid a tenner.
Yeah, no,
and you went in and you could have access to
everything.
Bowling,
It was a belter.
Quasar, roller rink, all these. And then outside was the go-karts as well. And what we used to do on a Sunday is we'd go to the go-karts around half an hour before it finished. And the fellas who worked there would start cleaning the track, put water on. So you'd come round this corner and you did if you knew how to do it, you could basically fast and furious on this bit of water. It was amazing. But because it was coming towards the end of the night, they'd always give you longer goes on it as well. We used to time it perfectly. It was brilliant. But literally from where I lived, it was like a 10-20 minute walk. It was mad. And then it basically what happened was, because they didn't have money, he fell into disrepair, started getting a little bit. But did you ever go on the slide, the death slide?
Just say my God, slide was ridiculous.
The death slide.
Horrible.
But you could go in there sometimes and you'd take your shoes off and you'd come back and your shoes had gone.
Yeah.
That's what it was like. So,
Robert Oldfield wants to know when the tickets are being released for the next patron night.
We'll sort that out. We'll sort that out next week. The next patron night. We have. If people don't know, we had a patron night in November. I couldn't go because I had COVID. Down in Murphy's Gym Bar on the Dock Road, a stone's throw away from Bramley Moor. Ned played, and by all accounts, it was a great night. And we're having another one for our patrons. So exclusive patron night. That'll be that's next month, end of next month.
So we'll sort that out next week.
Sort the tickets out next week. There's only like 100 tickets, so if you want to be a patron, you need to come and jump in on that.
Paz Mystery says, why is everyone getting bent out of shape with the El Ghazi transfer? 5-month loan to help us out till the summer. It's about as good as a right winger as we can get on loan. I doubt we'll buy him in the summer. Maybe as a stormer. Let's just let Rafa get on with it off the field and concentrate our grievances with what we're seeing on the pitch, which is not good enough right now. 3 players in with money to spare is better than most people had hoped for on December the 31st. Just can't be doing with the constant doom-mongering at every decision.
Yeah, but whose decision is it? That's my issue with it. I've got no problem with a player coming in on loan. It's just
we have to assume the manager's out favourite, don't we?
Do we?
Or do we? I don't know.
I don't know. Do we? Come on, tell us more.
But he wouldn't play him, would he?
Tell us more.
Why
wouldn't he play him though? Because once a player comes into a club, if you've got obviously last year it didn't quite turn out like that, and the manager definitely didn't play him.
Yeah.
So, but I would imagine once a player's in the door, if the manager sees him every day in training and likes to look at him, then he will give him a go. I just don't. I thought we'd gone away. I thought we'd stopped doing this. I thought whether you liked it or not, we'd put the responsibility of signings in 1 or 2 people's hands rather than the owner. If that is the case. So I just don't like the idea of signing players that the manager's not
made up with
wants or has any need for. But once he's in and the manager's got a decision to make, if he works harder than other people in training, then he get in the team. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Once he's in, and then we'll back him then, won't we?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Ben Armstrong says, just wondering, lads, with the El Ghazi deal being a loan, what benefit does the agent get from it? Assuming there's no loan fee, there's nothing to get a percentage of.
There's always something to get a percentage of.
Yeah. And don't forget, he's also getting played, isn't he? Moving him around and stuff.
And if it shop window.
There's always an angle, Ben, always. Richard Folk says, even the gent's been ages since I made a live at 5, been swamped with my new job. Everton has to be... Of course he is. Everton has to be the most mental club ever. Fans revolting, making books, get Jag reviews on Amazon. Players in, no one wants players out. The fans love, manager no one wants. You name it, we got it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do like the book thing is good though. It is funny. That is funny. That's proper Everton, that. That's proper Everton to me, that.
That's you agree. You upset us, we're going to...
Yeah, that's proper Everton, that, to me. Whether you agree with it or not, that's proper Everton, that. You cross our path. We're allowed to call that, it's...
No one hates us more than we do.
I'm allowed, I can call my sister a knobhead, but if you do it,
well, off we go.
Where we
and
go.
That's what
that's
we do with Everton, yeah.
That's Everton, innit?
We can call them what we want, but if someone else does, you're crossing us.
That's Everton.
Dick L says who's more likely to still be in their respective position a month from now. Boris Johnson or Rafa Benitez?
I thought he was going to say Ned or Boris Johnson. I think they'll both be in there Well,
Yeah, I think they'll both be.
I think the only people who can get Boris out will be the will be the Tories, who clearly want him out, because these things don't just get leaked.
No,
You don't just find something on your phone and go, "Oh, remember that email." These things get saved for a rainy day, and that rainy day is now. So,
not so Pervalaki. I live in the Midlands, and all the Villa fans have discovered Darren Farley with all his Stevie G impressions and think he's some hilarious scouser who's dead funny. God help them. Yeah.
yeah, of course. The question is, though, who does a better impression? That's got to be the question, hasn't it?
Steve Kelly says, all right, lads, hope you're both well. Since you lads started the channel, has this season been the most difficult to talk about and get motivated watching us? That is a very good question. I found this season the most difficult that we've done.
I've got a photo on my phone of how motivated Baz was about half an hour.
I knew you'd take a picture of me.
I get like very much like Tory HQ. I'll wait for the time.
Not well. Was I snoring?
There was a little bit. There was a little.
Woke myself up
listen, you're not well. That's fine. You have a little. I tell you what, we
were very quiet.
We were very quiet.
You know what? I thought there was a lot of respect for.
And I thought,
you were very quiet.
I thought I'll do the daily at like 5 to 5.
Yeah, it was good.
So that we,
minimum
fuss.
Well, what do you think personally? Is it for you, or have you found?
Yeah, because I'll be honest. Maybe this is the thing that's keeping me going. In terms of like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Talk the talk. I don't know if I could walk the walk in terms of like walking away. But I hope we get to the end of the season. I hope I turn around and go, God, that was a hard one. But we go again next season. I hope it's got as hard as it's going to be. I really hope there's an upturn. It's not going to take that much. It's not going to take that much for Everton this season to turn a corner. It's not going to. It's going to take us learning to defend properly, which might just be Yerry Mina back and getting Don playing week in, week out. And I think, but it's every time people go, oh, we're just waiting for this to happen. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like we just need to get our players back fit. Well, yeah, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to get re-injured. Players getting injured left, right, and centre. Tom.
But just with the overall thing, I think what Steve's saying is this being, have we found this season the most difficult? We started 7 years ago. 8 years. It's 8 years on me.
Like it's difficult because I think I don't know. The landscape changes all the time. Doing stuff like this, it's difficult because it's not work, it's emotion. So you're trying to do something, but a lot of it is based on emotions. But you can't always have a meltdown about things when you want to have a meltdown. There's a lot of channels and there's a lot of people out there who will have meltdowns. But you're trying not to have a meltdown because you're trying to get the information across to people in a respectable way, or in a way that
coherent.
Yeah, people can understand.
Is, yeah.
And that's not always easy. It's not always easy to come in and go, shh. You know what we were saying when we done the final word on Monday? It was the first final word we'd done since the end of September on a Monday where Everton had won. Like that, you forget that, and then you hear in the next room, all you hear is just like
joviality,
fun, and people enjoying themselves, and you think that's how it's supposed to be. This is not supposed to be a proper job, and it isn't a proper job, but it's not supposed to be like. You'd be going through the emotions anyway, I would imagine. But yeah, it is. It's hard. It's only because it's hard because it is just generally hard because I just want to see Everton get up the table and not have to worry about. Yeah,
it has been difficult, but I think it's been difficult overall because I think the thing what we do, you take it home with you, and it never goes away.
No.
It never goes away, and it'll be like that for obviously loads of fans anyway. And it was like that when I had other jobs, just not to this extent. You could go in and have to worry about your other job, so you stop worrying about Everton for a little bit. But just in general, even nothing to do with sitting here or doing this channel, just Everton in general. I think this has been a difficult. It's because everything just seems wrong.
Can't switch off from it.
Everything seems wrong now.
Yeah,
and people are behind the manager. I don't love the manager, so you can't get that thing of one. You know what I mean? That's not right. the owner and different things, it just winds you up. The board winds you up. The football's terrible at times, and it should be better. Just makes it difficult.
Do you know what really makes it hard is, I just feel like we're a real big faceless corporation now as a football club in many ways, and it just feels like everyone can see what's wrong with the club, but the club are just like, well, no, business as normal. Just keep doing what we're doing. Let's have a media day at Bramley-Moore Dock, and that'll keep everyone happy. And it's just like, I said it yesterday on Patreon, like, set your standards higher and
demand more
from everybody, and that's not like meaning you're going to continue to sack managers, but if you set your standards higher in the first place, you look for a really good manager or really good people to do the jobs, whether it be CEO or whether it be the chairman or whatever, things like this won't happen. You've
got to have standards that everybody aspires to, not just talking about Rafa Benitez. Talking about the owner. The owner should be setting those standards and should have set those standards from day one. And then everybody rises with those standards, don't they? And it's just not difficult to put a team together that can get into Europe. Top four, you've got to be a bit more consistent. To win the league, of course, you've got to have world-class players. But to get seventh, imagine, someone mentioned John Moores before. Imagine John Moores. Oh, yeah, our aim is seventh. He'd be turning in his grave, as they say. It's just scandalous that Everton make it difficult to get seventh, and it's not in this league. If you are organised, you finish in the top 8. It's dead simple, and yet we do. And I honestly don't think a team of people trying to make errors deliberately would have ended up as in the position we're in, where we've had people who are supposed to try to do things correctly. We've made that many ridiculous decisions in the last 6 years. It's incredible. And this should have been the point where we were going forward. But what's mad is I'm seeing other teams doing exactly the same.
Yeah.
Even teams like, even Villa to some extent making strange decisions. Newcastle making crazy decisions. It's like football's just mad. But Everton have made more than the first year. It's crazy. But I don't know. What can you do? So annoying. On the super chat from the super chat. Mate, you know what? Not feeling great, but I just wish that Everton would guarantee me a few wins to pick me up. Saturday's a big game, isn't it? It's a huge game on Saturday. If we beat Norwich on Saturday, we move on to 22 points. And you'd start to look up and think, well, all right, we've put a bit of distance between those teams near the bottom. I think someone said before, the next 5 league games are like Norwich, Villa, Southampton, Newcastle, Leeds, some not necessarily in that order, but they're the next 5 games. All 5 are winnable. But one thing Everton need to do is make sure they don't lose any of them, because they're all from teams around us. And you'd be looking to maybe win 3 of those and get a couple of draws. And if they'd done that, they'd be safe then, virtually. And it'd be like, let's see if we can pick this up a bit. And then we talk about giving the likes of Jared Branthwaite a real run in the team and see whether he can save us a few quid in the summer, and continue with Anthony Gordon. Do we give more time to Lewis Dobbin and really try to establish a team? Nathan Patterson and obviously Michalenko, making sure they're blooded in. Then you start thinking about next season, and if we can add here and there. Where at the moment we're looking and going, where are we going to get this win from? And everything just seems flat, doesn't it? And it's how you pick that. It's how you pick that. The depression or so. Lewis Patterson, who was Lewis before, Newcastle fan, says, take Longstaff from us. I think a lot of Evertonians will say, take Holgate from us, because that's the big link today. To be honest, mate, I don't think it's anything to do with us, whether we can take Patterson. It's up to the manager. Not us, mate. Clampo says Pleasure Island, class.
Yeah.
Don King says Pleasure Island, belter. It was. It definitely was. Gavin Johnson said, Lewis Patterson, will Newcastle take Holgate off us, please? Danny Morton says that death slide in the works in Pleasure Island was a death trap. Yeah, it was absolutely dodgy, that.
Put a little bit of washing up liquid on that would do the trick, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, you want to do that. Kieran Morgan passed his master's dissertation on the impact of Bramley-Moore Dock on Liverpool. If you lads want a copy, yeah, that'd be good.
Nice one.
Send it over, Kieran. Email, yeah.
The way he said that,
congratulations for passing it, by the way.
The way he said that, though, the impact on Liverpool, it sounds like it's Godzilla.
It could be. Don King said, Kieran, impressed, mate. Send one to the club. Well done. So there you go. Maybe you've seen it.
I'll be honest, I imagine the club have know what that is. Not got it. I mean, I'm saying they'll know what the impact is.
Yeah. His comments are flying. Where are we? Nice one, Dosbich. I will, mate. I'm just under it. I'm all right. I just feel.
He's just got co.
I've got co.
He's just got co.
There's no vid.
No vid.
There's no vid.
I'm open. So.
Well, I'm open. There's no vid. Yeah. No, it's just I just feel knackered. I just feel exhausted. Like mad. Toffee Blue Nose says a Wobie link loan to Nice.
That would be Nice.
Yeah, I mean, would Galtier take a Wobie? A Wobie and Holgate. I mean, they were linked to Holgate yesterday. Maybe would be trying.
I think that'd be a good move for both players.
I think a Wobie would do well in France. Dick L says, who do you think will have the biggest career? Jared Branthwaite, Tyler Onyango, or Anthony Gordon?
Didn't we get this question yesterday?
I don't know.
It's impossible to say.
It is, isn't it?
But
I hope all three of them have fantastic careers with Everton. That's what I hope.
Difficult. I think Branthwaite's a tremendous prospect. And Anthony Gordon is doing a bit at the moment. Let's hope nothing sort of stops that happening. And hopefully Branthwaite's what Branthwaite's got to do is get away from picking up injuries every few games or in training or whatever, and get through that and become somebody the manager can rely on. Yeah. Like Anthony Gordon has been this season. Tyler Young was a little bit below them, isn't he, in terms of age, and he
needs a loan.
He had a bad injury at the end of last season, which maybe stopped his progression a little bit. He probably needs a loan, and maybe if Everton could do some business and send him a field before the end of the season. But we're so short there. We're so light. A big opportunity maybe from going forward next season with the likes of Delph going, the likes of maybe Gomez having a little look around, maybe seeing what his future is. I don't think it's on Youngo's time just yet. I don't think he's knocking on the door. I think he's just
on the periphery.
I think he's where Gordon was 2 years ago. Basically training with the first team, learning from the first team, seeing what the standards are, if there's any, and just understanding what it means to be a pro. And I think then it's taking the next step, and we've seen it's took Gordon 2 years. It's a difficult step. You've got to get up to that pace of the game.
If he gets up to it in the next 2 years, he's centre mid at 20. Yeah, it's round. Mike says, do you think the management are actually trying to plan ahead with getting El Ghazi because they're expecting Richarlison to leave in the summer, as Mbappe is leaving PSG? For example, if El Ghazi turns out to be a good loan, then he could be a permanent deal in the summer. I would hope Everton, if Richarlison is going to go, Everton are looking for the next Richarlison. That 20, 21, not 27-year-old El Ghazi, which he will. He turns 27 in May. Yeah.
I think that's when I would be seriously looking to pack it in if that happened.
If that was the replacement.
If that happened.
John Crellan says, what about the centre-back at Bournemouth we've been linked with? Lloyd Kelly is the man you're looking for. It could make sense with Holgate going in the other direction. He must be an improvement.
Difficult though.
Depends if Bournemouth want Holgate, doesn't it?
Difficult though with Bournemouth because they're going to come up. They're in pole position. They'll want to keep that team together, of course.
Yeah. Paul Black says, lads, how are we going to progress as a football club if Mashiri keeps on pleasing his agent mates? The big concern with El Ghazi is that it sounds familiar to the Iwobi deal. if this is how Everton is being run, we won't progress. I mean, this is your thing, isn't it? This is the thing that you're concerned with, isn't it? It's a bit like the Iwobi thing.
It's worrying if you're having a review of the situation. It's a worry. Put whatever you want aside. Put any things you think about, like brands, aside. Clearly, one of his issues was he'd been removed from some of the decision making around the club. Whether you think he was good at his job or not, I don't think that comes into it as such. Because whoever it was, if they were really good at the job, if they've been given the job, they'd expect to have that kind of control. And if you take the control away from them and start doing deals because an agent has come to you with a player, and obviously it serves for the agent, of course it does. It's their job. And the thing about it is, it doesn't even have to be that player's agent, by the way, either. It doesn't have to. Kia Joraban can come to Mashiri and go, there's a player there, and I'll do the deal for you. It doesn't have to be, is it?
No.
I think I've seen a few people last night on Twitter suggesting, well, Kia Joraban's not El Ghazi's player, but it doesn't matter. He can be the facilitator. He can be the fella who does the deal on Everton's behalf, the negotiator on Everton's behalf. So why would you do that? Why would you have a guy doing deals for your club when you've got a director of football or a manager who wants to take the lead, or whoever it is who's supposed to do it, Bill Kenwright, whoever? Why are you letting a third party do it that obviously satisfies their need? Agents want players to move on, of course. As you mentioned before, El Ghazi could come to Everton. He might have been told, you've got no future at Villa. And he'd be like, well, what do I do now? Does anyone want me? No. Well, Everton want you on loan. That's good, because if I go to Everton on loan and do well, I'm in the shop window. I'm available. Everton might keep me, or someone else might think, God, he did well.
He done all right.
He's
trying to got in the Netherlands provisional squad for the Euro. So if he does well, there's a World Cup, isn't there, and stuff like that. They want to be playing games. If Gerrard's decided he doesn't want them, then he'll be saying, right, I'll go and have a go here. Keeps them going. The better being in the shop window, the better being in the eye of playing games and stuff like that. So
El Ghazi wasn't getting in the team anyway, and now Coutinho's coming in. So he's gone from being third choice. Whereas Everton, whoever's doing the deal might say, well, go to Everton. They've only got one who they've got no natural left footer attacking or whatever, or whatever.
Yeah. No, but there might be a space where he thinks he can get it.
Might think no one on the left hand side is even though we have but they might be saying
the cover in depth, isn't it? That's what you've got to look for. But it is mad. Robert Dudley says, we all know Mashiri will sell our club at some point after Bramley Moor Dock is built. Hope you both well, but like all of us, you're feeling down, aren't you? Which we are. Where are we? Let's just skip on. Hi, I'm introducing. I can't say that. Shay Hill. It looks like maybe. I'm introducing myself. I'm from Mauritius Island. Hello from Mauritius. I bet you it's warmer there than what it is here. I can definitely say that. Without a shadow. Gavin Cunningham says Alan's too old and slow. Doesn't get near anyone. I think Alan's all right in 3. I think it's shown up when he's in a midfield 2. They get overpowered. Because it's 3v2 anyway, but he does because he likes to go chasing the ball. Alan, I think when you've got 3 in there, you've got the cover, but the 2 doesn't give you that cover, does it? Leaves you exposed. Mike says, how refreshing do you think that transfers are now being done early in the transfer window? Whether we like the personnel or not, I think it's great that it seems regarding transfers they're acting like they're being more proactive than reactive. It is better to get players in earlier.
I think you've got to acknowledge that the 2 players who've come in have been looked at for a while, and whoever was doing that, the recruitment team, brands, whoever, and Everton have gone in and pulled the trigger on quite early because the managers probably insisted on it. What's the point in waiting? Just go and get them done. It actually suits the teams we've bought off as well. Both weren't playing, so it suits that the deals have been done and get it done. People have said we've overpaid. We'll come back in 3 or 4 years and we'll talk about whether they've overpaid, because we don't know. Because they might both turn out to be bargains. You know, you only overpay for a player if he's crap. You know, if he turns out to be crap, you can never tell. But it's good, and it shows that there might have been a little bit more joined up thinking this year, and we went and we. I think what it also proves that there was an absolute necessity for those positions in terms, certainly the right back. We had,
but in the past we haven't done what we've. You know, how many times have we said January the 1st, go and get that player we need?
But we were very hesitant, weren't we, to buy in January? Where this season, I think the need is so much more because of the risk factor. Maybe, and don't get me wrong, there's been times before and where you think, if we go and get someone now, we can kick on here. I mean, people said that last year about if we'd gone and got Jesse Lingard, the way Villa did, maybe it would have been us we were kicking on. Teams don't always see it like that. I remember when Leicester won the league and thinking, if Arsenal had just bought a striker, Aubameyang at the time,
nearly got him, didn't they?
Then they could have gone on and easily won that league, but they didn't, and Leicester went on and won it. So teams always ruin harder in January because you have to balance what teams are willing one for a player, because it is that market where no one wants to sell.
Definitely, Robert Oldfield's already booked his hotel for the patron night. Good lad.
Okay.
Good man. He's ready. He's ready for it.
He's not sitting here now, is he?
He's just waiting. Mike says, how refreshing. Oh, it's just done, haven't I? Sorry. Joe Mack says, I'm sure the AGM will be interesting.
Well, it won't, because it'll be online. And it'll be just dross. And they'll probably just tell us how amazing the Everton community have done in COVID times.
They might not.
They will.
Ahmed says, hello guys, hope you're all well. Love to hear your opinions on the current narrative at the club. I was listening to a View from the Bull on Twitter space yesterday. Proper mess with my head. The narrative of owner versus manager that seems to follow Benitez and was predicted by El Piv amongst others seems to become more apparent, especially with the El Ghazi signing. Is it Mashiri's incompetence or is it Benitez playing 4D chess with us to get us on side? I, for one, might be falling for it.
I don't know. The manager was always going to come and want to be in charge. Always, wasn't he? That's his.
But you would, wouldn't you?
That's his raison d'etre.
I think you would.
No,
I think I would, because I'd be thinking, well, hang on, I'm the one getting judged.
But I think
so. I want
the problem is that can work and does work at a lot of clubs where that is the structure.
Yeah.
Liverpool have a director of football. It's not, but Klopp's the main man. Yeah, of course he is. And Klopp, but at Everton, it's never quite been established how it fully works, and because you've got different managers, it's never fully being put into practice. And now we've got a manager who clearly is experienced, has his own thoughts on what we need, and has gone for them. But you can only go back. I actually think you can take the manager out of this equation, because there's been so many of them, and go, well, hang on. This situation seems to have happened under numerous managers. So therefore, this was an issue between the director of football and the owner. And I just think if a director of football was allowed to run the club and the owner had no input on it, then it would work a lot better. We'd be able to point fingers in the right directions without having to think about what's going on. And I think you should let a director of football or a managing director of football or whoever run the football club and not be getting involved. I can't understand for the life of me why he thinks this is a good idea. This is the whole time now, thinking this is a good idea. You only have to go back to the beginning of December when the brand stuff was going on, when the fans were protesting or were kicking up a real fuss about it. And all journalists were saying at the time, when Brands went, this is why he went, this is the story behind it. He felt marginalised. Forget about the job he done. He felt marginalised. It was put out there in black and white by the Echo, the Athletic, whoever else. The Iwobi deal was nothing to do with Brands. It was the owner. And I just can't understand for the life of me why that's not a healthy way to run a club. It can't be, because the director of football and the manager have to have the input into what's going on with the team, and then you decide what that hierarchy is. And if it's what's the thing about Brandsway was when Carlo came in. Carlo seemed to have the upper hand, and Brand seemed to almost not be happy, but he knew that that's the way it was. And I'm sure he probably felt similar about Benitez, but it was, I think Micheri is almost to the point edged them out of the whole thing, and I don't think that's I just don't think that's a way of how to run a club. I really don't. I think they've done this. Chelsea have done this, and I understand the way they changed the managers, but I think every time Abramovich has got involved, things seem to go tits up as well. You know, when he brought like Shevchenko in, and it was like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
You know, yeah. I think we've seen a little bit of that at United, though. I think we've seen that with the Ronaldo signing. Yeah. I think that upset. I think all Solskjaer was like, "This is brilliant," but I think a tougher manager, more in control manager, someone who obviously wasn't in a perilous situation, would have maybe put the foot down there and gone, "No, mate, I've bought Chancho, and this is the way I'm going to play, and I can't play that system with this guy." And I think that's what happens when owners get involved too much. So
yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Meg versus Jake says, my mum always says it's not the manager who should be blamed for the poor performance. The players. It's his first transfer window. Look at the players he's brought in, 2 young fullbacks and probably El Ghazi. Yeah. Blue Nose Dublin says, are we in this mess having spent all the money with directors of football? Is that a post we definitely require? How did we ever cope without one? GM says we'll never go anywhere with the owner having a say in it all. Someone says we are signing 18-year-old keeper Chris May. Why? We don't need one.
Another goalie.
Another
goalie. We've been linked with been linked with a player called excuse me, Kerr Smith.
He's going to Villa.
Yeah. Dundee United.
£2 million, young centre back, 17 years of age, going in their academy side. Fair play to him. Harold Dotton says Adama Traore could become the biggest steal Everton have ever had if we sign this guy.
He's going to Spurs, isn't he?
Why do we want him?
Isn't he going to Spurs looking at him, Andy? Because he's out of contract.
Yeah.
Is it this summer or 18 months?
18 months.
Is it? Yeah. I know Spurs looking at him.
Interesting. See if they get him. Don Percival says Doff is not required. It just causes conflict. Proper football managers look after the transfers and scouting too.
No, they don't. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. All the big clubs have a director of football, or they're not called directors of football though. All clubs have them. They're there to manage the day-to-day stuff of a football club and put things in place and manage all the other things that the manager. The job's too big now. It's too big for managers to do. All clubs have them. It's nonsense to think they don't. City have Chelsea, Liverpool. They've all got them, and it's how you use them, and it's how the hierarchy works with them. If they work well, you never hear of them. That's the point.
That's the good thing, yeah.
If Liverpool have got Michael Edwards, but he's leaving, but he's going to be taken over by his assistant, and his job is to find the players that fit into the mould, and then Jurgen Klopp will then probably take over and go, I want him, or I like his personality, or whatever. But all clubs have them. It's just like I say, you don't hear about them when they do the job well. And unfortunately, we've had conflict, and that's why the name Marcel Brands has become a bit more famous than maybe some of the other ones.
Yeah. Definitely. Anthony says Kia Joroban should never have had any dealings with English teams after the whole Tevez Mascherano thing. That was a mad one, wasn't it? Anshuman Singh says, Baz, any hints on a new centre back? No, it's quiet really. Only really Lloyd Kelly, I know they've watched for well over 12 months. But that link come back last week. There hasn't really been anything on centre-backs, has there? Because I imagine they're waiting till the summer. That's probably...
It's got to be a good one, hasn't it?
It's got to be someone who's going to come in and play and be dominant. I reckon it'll be sold in the summer, I imagine. Take your
Can't
pick.
keep him, can you? 1 year left on his contract.
No. He's not played 4 games or something this season.
What if an offer doesn't come in for him, though? Do you just keep him next season?
Yeah.
Would you have to, wouldn't you?
We'd have to, but I'm thinking, would they give him an extension? It's the injuries. If you could tell me he was going to play 30 games,
he's not going to play 30
you'd say
games.
yeah, but he's not.
He's not going to play 30 games.
Worse, so I think someone will take him because he's a good defender.
I think in another country, warmer
Better
climate,
weather, yeah.
be better for his body.
Gary says spend the D money on Ghana.
I think we spent the team money.
Probably already spent it.
We spent it.
Not Deli Ali says GM. He won't get away with anything he tried. Yeah. So, what can you do? No to Deli Ali.
No to Deli Ali.
Put that on a t-shirt. No to Deli Ali. Deli Ali, if you could get him right, would be a really good signing. If you could get him right, but he's not been right for a while, so that would be a huge gamble, and his wages are probably big as well. Thanos says, I'm sick to the back teeth of this club. I feel so disconnected from the club, and I can't be the only one who thinks it. Whenever I think we can't get worse, we do. I'm seriously worried. Yeah. Scintillating Skills says, do you think the Alan deal looks poor in hindsight? He's obviously a good player, but he was very short term and has gone slow.
No, I don't think. I think
okay,
it's been a good deal.
To be honest,
It's only 20 million, wasn't it, or so?
20 million, yeah.
He's had a year and a half. You want to be a bit louder there?
Yeah.
I think he's had a year and a half. I think he's fine. I think he's been fine. I think he doesn't. I don't think I don't think it works. I think at the start of the season that 2 actually was doing well when it had some pace ahead of it, and we had like a fit team.
Yeah, it was.
It actually worked when it was like with Richarlison and Gray and Townsend. It worked. But I think as we've lost pace in the team, and I think with Mina not necessarily being in the team and having a dominant centre back, I think it's become harder and harder. I think if he had someone in there with him, I think there's this idea that he's a number 6 and he's not. He likes to press, and because he presses on his own, it does leave him exposed. It leaves him in gaps. I've seen pictures from the weekend of him and Gomez trying to get into positions, but because they had an extra man, it was just getting passed around them. I think some games he's done really well in. I really do, and I thought last season was good, and I think some games this season have been good. I just don't think maybe the system suits him, and I don't think it suits Decore, because Decore isn't that kind of player. No. But I do think if you were to put someone who sat in front of the back 4 who didn't move, allowed Decore to be a number 8, and then allowed Alan to go chasing Harry, and I think that could make a difference. Yeah. If we'd paid an extortionate amount for him, then yeah, I'd agree with you. And his age is against them, of course it is. His age is against them. I get that. In the summer, he needs to be basically replaced. Going into his final year, if he goes into his final year.
Could move on in the summer.
That'd be a big decision, won't it?
To Italy in the summer. Joseph Cooper says, what if Rafa does a Rangnick for 18 months, sort out the wage structure and the staff, and then Rooney or someone else has it all in place? Old Ed to sort the mess out and then pass it over.
Do you think he'd pass it over? Does he sound like the kind of fella who's just going to pass it over?
Doesn't seem so, no.
I get what you're saying, and it's something we spoke about a little bit earlier on the Day Live Extra, is that he might be doing the job that needs doing. He's just not getting results on the pitch. And that's sort of like the really key part of it all, is getting the results on the pitch. Otherwise, none of it really matters.
No. JJT says, if Newcastle stay up, will they overtake us next season?
Yeah, I'm afraid to say yeah.
Do you think so?
Just because of where we are at the moment.
Yeah.
They'd have to have a big
I
summer.
think they'd have to spend another 300 million on top of the 100 million they spend this summer. Because the team is abysmal. That one abysmal side. But with all that money, mind you, they can't spend all the money, it's the thing. There isn't an open checkbook anymore. They've got Eddie Howe as the manager, so I think I'd still back Rafa Benitez to manage half the games and finish above them, to be honest. Marine Boy says, as a Villa fan, is he any good? Yes, Luca Dean, if you're talking about, is very good.
It's garbage.
Yeah, made up, you got him.
Yeah, he's got a dodgy knee as well. We haven't told you, but he's like, one of his legs is shorter than the other. Yeah, it's terrible.
Can't run.
He has like lifts in his boots, like some of the wrestlers do, to make him look taller. It's a really shame. Right? Every third weekend, he demands to have off to go to Disneyland in Paris. It's not good. It's not good, honestly. That's why we're getting rid of him.
Trouble causer.
He is, cause trouble. Demands people talk to him in French. It's very strange. He says he has to watch Emily in Paris on every TV, just so he can mock Emily.
That's bad.
For not speaking French.
You can't mock Emily.
Well, he is.
She has a goal in season 2 speaking French.
You know what I mean? He goes, and he won't listen to Phil Collins because it's Phil Collins' daughter. Yeah. He refuses to. These are some of the issues, and it's well known that Rafa is a huge Phil Collins fan.
Wanted them on in the playlist before the games.
Huge Phil Collins fan, and makes he wanted to change their cars to In the Air Tonight. He literally was just like, he wanted to come out when the drum goes doom 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 doom.
What's the
EastEnders?
Barry Dara says, all right, Bars, Ped and Ned, wherever he is.
It's over there.
Caps from FC Aintree, he'll be on the way soon. That's some biscuits.
Okay.
It's right, mate.
Sure.
Top man. Alan isn't great, says Will Lewis. Okay. Fair enough. Luke Grady said, should be back in Gordon, Trent, Rashford and all these homegrown players weren't scoring and assisting straight away. The clubs and managers back them. Have Gray and Townsend, don't need Ghazi. Okay, well, hopefully Gordon will just continue. The manager's played them all season. He hasn't just bombed them out, has he? So, Meg versus Jake says, I don't think Dean is as good as people think. Okay. Dark Art says the new Rooney documentary looks like it'll be a good watch. Yeah.
Yeah, it does look quite good.
Reinhard Pina, what a name, says, I think we need a new manager, new players, new staff, new crest, new stadium, new grounds and new kit, man.
Who's that?
Reinhard thinks that's what we need.
Okay, I don't think that's achievable. But, you know. Yeah, cuz.
Gavin says, Richarlison will go for big bucks in the summer and a good centre-back and defensive midfielder is a must. And a good striker. GM says it's sad no one is talking about Coutinho's teeth. They're great for checking £20 note to real or jag. I mean, there you go. JJT says, is the fact we haven't signed a new Toffee mean that Benitez is only here for one season?
I don't know. I don't think they've done that.
Okay.
It's a new tactic.
Okay. Give it to Jax.
Give it to Garden.
Charlie Hurt says, I mean, it's a good point Charlie's making.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, how much can you miss a lad with "You'll never walk alone" tattooed across his chest?
It's not strictly true, that is it. We can't start saying the things that are wrong with him that we said weren't wrong with him. What was that? Who was that name? Who was that?
It was Charlie.
Charlie was his name?
Hurt.
Is his nickname everybody?
I don't know. Ask him.
Sometimes
Everybody. Tony Johnson says, can I just add one more thing, lads? I understand the fans have the right to boo the team at the end of an abysmal performance, but to boo a player coming onto the pitch is not on, in my opinion. Fair play, Tony. Fair play.
Were they booing the player or booing the sub?
Probably both, to be honest. Probably both. Ray Critchell says, will we actually get anything for Moyes Keane in the summer? What a scam this has been.
Yeah, we're getting
They paid again this summer.
We're getting like 28 million
and
for
then,
him.
Not this summer. We get another.
No, I know.
Whatever it is this summer,
And then the
next
summer after we get
28 million for him. Foxy says, where is the salsa dancer Yerry Mina at these days? Well, training again.
Training today.
Training. Everton have put pictures out of him back.
How convenient.
In training.
How convenient that he's back to play.
The day Luca Dean's
The
announced
day.
bad news. And how convenient that day. It was a media day.
The media day from Modoc.
Family Modoc on the day Dean goes.
And we've got a video coming out not about that because
Not
we weren't
about that,
there
'cause
because
we
we weren't
weren't.
invited clearly because we're not media. We're independent
And
media.
because they've got a cop on.
But we do have a video coming out about the so far at
Progress, yeah.
Progress.
Progress.
Baz is like, honestly, one you'll think he's about to break into sign language.
Yeah. Sorry, someone just asked me. Steve O EFC says, hi guys, my opinion on what's wrong with the goings on the field is there is no leadership on the field. I think the same is happening on the other side of the park till they bought Van Dijk. He leads that side and shows what happened last season without him. We need a leader, and I always say that the best captain come at centre-back. So if any money is to be spent, it should be on a centre-back with true leadership skills. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree. I slightly disagree with you on, I think at the back, Van Dijk gave them leadership skills. I think they already had Henderson giving them leadership skills in the team, but I think what Van Dijk did was come in and just transform that defence. And that's what we need, an equivalent. I mean, I don't think we're going to go out and buy a £75 million centre-back.
No.
Although it was that weird, wasn't it? The way, like, how bad he was at Southampton, and then suddenly,
He was all over the
and then suddenly he went to Liverpool and he was amazing. Like he was almost like phoning it in just so he could get a cheaper move.
Don't forget, we almost had him the January before.
Stop it! Just stop it!
Got an
Stop
ankle
it.
injury and
Yeah, we got Funes Mori instead. I mean, you know.
No, I'm talking about under
No, I know.
We tried to get him in January,
No, I
didn't we?
know,
But we got injured.
No, we do. Honestly, we do. We need that defence is all over the place as a unit. We need someone in there. We need someone in there who can take that role. And it might be a short term thing, maybe a slightly older player for now. I don't see what the difference would be. We've got Keane who's 29, so you know, I think we just need someone in there who's got experience, who knows how to command a back four, knows how to organise a back four, and deals with stuff when it comes over, and bollocks a few people as well. Yeah. But who is that man? I don't know.
I know. Nicholas Sadlier says, I work in PR and you are media.
Yeah, we are, but we're not.
Everton don't think.
We're not accredited media. So
yeah.
It's a thing football tends to hide behind, is the idea of who gets the right to go and do things or talk to people or have interviews, and sadly we aren't accredited media, so we don't have the right to do anything. We can't, but that's fine. We do what we do. We've done it this long without having it, so you know.
Off we go. Yeah. Unhygiene 6 says Michael Keane's the second in the league for interceptions.
I couldn't care less. He's garbage.
Blue Voice She says we desperately need a centre back. James Tarkowski will be cheap and brilliant. No way would he put up with idiots.
Be an interesting conversation with him and Richarlison, though.
Yeah, very. Blue Nose Dublin says Marco flying in the Championship. Could he be our next manager?
No.
JJT says, why did the club treat you worse when they are doing bad? Because we remind them that they're doing bad, and they don't like it.
Every single day.
They don't like it, so... It's the way
You there, stop it.
Yeah. The golfer, we've been trying. It's a long process to get accredited.
They don't recognise.
Really,
they don't actually recognise what we do.
It's because the people in charge at the FA are newspaper people, so they think that only newspapers are real media, which is nonsense. Get a pen.
No, the basic stipulation is any organisation has to represent more than one football club. That's basically the stipulation. It's odd, it's old-fashioned, especially with media now, the way it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. It, as I said, it hasn't held us back. We'd love to get interviews with a few more high-profile people, but it's just not the way it is. Especially when you watch interviews and they're just terrible, and they ask terrible questions. So it is the way it is. We've dealt with it for a long time. It doesn't keep us awake at night, and it certainly doesn't stop us from doing anything. Be nice to have opportunities where you could go and do things and not not have to like try and do them off your own back or feel like someone's doing you a favour. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
It is.
Baz is just putting his chippy order in.
As if. I'm to sleep. Jamie Donahue says, great show, lads. Just wondering how you did start this. Many moons ago, radio show first one. Started and then went from there, really.
Just started it. Started it with a dream and a nickel in our pocket. Holes in our shoes.
And we've still got all of that.
We've got a slightly better green screen though.
We have got a better green screen.
Not that this is a green screen, by the way. This is real. See? But we have got a better green screen over there. We started with a green sheet and some plastic piping, plumbing piping.
We did.
And we projected a background on it using very basic software.
JJ, like last couple, JJT says, what do you think has to happen for Benitez to get sacked? Or is he unsackable?
I think, and this is why I don't want him sacked, he has to lose games of football. But that's the reason I don't want him sacked, because I don't want to lose games of football. If he loses games of football, he probably will get the sack. Simple as that. Yeah. Especially if he loses them in the short term, 2 or 3 together. The next 2 games are huge because we're playing, team bottom of the league, and then we're playing Villa at home, who are around us, and they're huge. And then there's an international break, a couple of weeks without a game, going into the FA Cup game. So that's when the club could make a decision. But I hope they don't have to, because I hope we get 6 points out of the next 2 games, and they don't have to make a decision, because that's all I care about at the moment. Points on the board. Let's get to the end of the season and get 50 points or whatever, and then have a conversation about it then. Dead simple. But that requires the team to start winning games of football.
That's the thing.
That's it. Simple as that. And if we're winning games of football, then will I be happy with the whole situation? No. But I don't think that really matters at the moment. I think the thing that matters at the moment is just getting the points and getting to the end of the season and start addressing what has gone wrong this season. And trying to put some things right for next season, which obviously is going to be a bit of a mad one, because November and December we have a World Cup. So, but that's by the by.
Live watch-alongs for the World Cup.
Oh.
Live watch-alongs for the World Cup.
Oh.
Don said, Baz, you remember where it was? Just inside Wales, where he played. Buckley. That's in Wales, isn't it? Buckley Town. Buckley Town.
Yeah. Just past Queensferry.
Yeah, Buckley Town it was. Just come to me then. So, yeah, it was there. It was quite rough as well. Right, we're done. There's loads, we'll just keep going and going, won't we?
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for everyone who joined. Thanks for hitting that like button on your way out. Much appreciated.
We'll be back tomorrow about 1 o'clock to do the daily live extra, and whatever's going on, we'll be talking about it. So join us then.
Yeah.
Join us then, and we'll see you later.